Hello from New Hampshire. Today at the Mount Morgan trailhead here in central New Hampshire. Today going to be hiking Mount Morgan and Mount Percival Loop. For a full trail guide of the Mount Morgan and Mount Percival Loop trail, you can check the link in the description below. We're capping off our trip in New England here this year, and I've been looking forward to this hike for a while. I actually meant to do it last summer, but couldn't for whatever reason. This Mount Morgan and Mount Percival hike is not super taxing. It's just over 5 miles, about 1,500 feet of elevation gain, but it has some cool caves and ladders along the way. It is located directly across from super popular West Rattlesnake viewpoint, which is definitely an awesome hike in its own right. All right, this is your first trail junction here. If you go right, that's where you're going to end up, on the Morse Trail over there. However, you want to go straight to start your day. The reason for this is basically you're going to be climbing the ladders versus down climbing them. Especially on busy weekends, it's best to do this just because this will be the way most people go. And that way you don't have to run into that awkward, you come up, I go down. And it's just, in my opinion, more fun to climb a ladder versus down climb it. Jackie just told me this hike is closed in the months of March and April, and maybe even beyond that if there's a really wet snow season, and that tracks. Due to mud, if you couldn't figure that out. And with all this water comes naturally lots of mosquitoes, so definitely gonna want some bug repellent for this one. While we're talking about bug repellent and mud, let's talk about gear. You can check everything we're using in the links in the description below. This is a day hike, so really good shoes with decent grip, or boots with a higher ankle for some of the mud here. Food, water, hiking poles are optional. Obviously bug spray or a bug net even. The hike so far, just over a mile in, mile and a quarter, so just hiking through the forest. Those spots of mud have dissipated quite a bit, but they're definitely heavy on the bottom. So yeah, elevation gain has been mellow, really. Trail super well established. You're following the yellow blazes, or markers on the trees. Well, we've certainly found the elevation gain in this hike, definitely towards the back half of the first mile, and just climbing our way up towards Mount Morgan here. Sign is crystal clear. You want Mount Morgan and Mount Percival, you go right. Just shy of 1.8 miles into the hike, or just over, you have your junction here. You can go up through the ladder and caves here, or if you had someone who didn't want to, or a dog or whatever, you can take the bypass trail to the right. Okay, at the base of the ladders here, Jackie just went up. I'm gonna head up myself. There's the caves up there right behind her, so we'll show you a look of it. Through the cave now. Certainly not the most graceful. Not the official summit of Mount Morgan, but the views up here are awesome. So we'll show you some more here in a sec, but just soaking up the views and grabbing a snack before continuing. Trying to continue on the trail here. This here is the junction to go snag Mount Morgan officially. So let's go do that. There you go. That's the summit of Mount Morgan. About 50 feet to tag the summit, true summit there. But the views are definitely better back on that rocky ledge area that I showed you. Now that you've tagged the summit of Morgan, you can continue on the trail here towards Mt Percival, and it's about a little under a mile away from where we are to the summit. As you're heading over to Mt Percival here, you're gonna reach this trail junction, which isn't super clear, but you're just gonna wanna continue this way. If you didn't wanna make this a loop, you could just go back down that trail I showed you, and basically that would skip the ladder section and bring you back down to the Mount Morgan parking lot. Here we are, summit of Mount Percival. A very obvious summit here, and again, really pretty views. Here's the official summit sign, 2,200 feet, and basically it tells you a bunch of different ways you can go, but you're gonna wanna go straight where Jackie is, that way, via the cliffs, so that you can make a loop. If you go this way, you're gonna keep going towards the double head trailhead, which is not what you want. So make sure you go down the right way. This is the portion where it might not be dog friendly, and it could be a little more challenging for hikers without as much experience too. Starting the descent down towards beautiful Squam Lake in the distance. Very picturesque. Tight squeeze there, buddy. You stuck?
A little bit.
You might want to take your backpack off for some of these parts. Into the cave we go. Trying to go through a cave, film it, and not scratch my lenses. A lot going on here. Oh, buddy. This is gonna be tight. My time in the slot canyons has done me well. Oh. Just gonna leave the bag behind. Jackie's stuck now. Another angle. Definitely key to take your bag off. It's a tight squeeze. Watch your head. I said this one is bigger. I don't think so. This one has a weird exit. There's a bit of a drop off too, so you kind of have to be strategic. This is why I'm glad signs exist. So you can go to the summit of Percival either way. right would have been cliffs. What we just came from on the left here is cave. I'd recommend the caves though, it was pretty cool. Or descended, I should say, the loop in both directions. I don't really think it matters which way you go. I think they're both pretty fun. I think Percival offers a lot more bang for your buck in terms of entertainment. Theoretically, you could loop it twice, do the caves one time, come back and do the cliffs on the way down. Really, it's up to you. But both routes, I wouldn't bring Juno on. We said earlier we could probably do it. Juno's our dog, by the way. We could probably do it, but it would be a pain in the ass. So I wouldn't consider this hike dog friendly, just because it's, I don't know, it kind of takes a joy out of a lot of the fun parts if you have to worry about shoving a dog through a cave or getting it down a cliff where it can't go. We're gonna keep chugging along, descending Percival here, and basically right before you get to the road where the trailhead for Morgan was, you take a right and just loop back to the starting point. Not exactly a thrilling section to descend here with all the water and mud. You'll be coming from that way, but you're going to want to connect back here to get to the trailhead for Mount Morgan. Just a half mile to go. Won't bring you guys back to the car. This is going to be super straightforward. But overall, I thought the Mount Morgan and Mount Percival hike was great. Quick after work hike, later weekend hike. The reason I say later weekend is it's super popular. You come here early morning, afternoon, it's going to be packed. So nice seclusion here on a weekday. Yeah, overall, pretty moderate hike, about 1,500 feet of elevation gain, just over 5 miles total when it's all said and done. And obviously beautiful views from both summits with relatively little work, which is always nice here in the White Mountains. So that's gonna wrap up my video trail guide here of Mount Morgan and Mount Percival. As always, for a full trail guide, A to Z, everything you need to know about this hike, you can check the link that's pinned in the comments below or in the description below as well. If you're new to my channel, check out some of my other New England hikes. I have all the popular big ones for the most part on my website, thevirtualsherpa.com, and also on the channel here. As always, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you on the next adventure.